Poltergeist 2 was released in 1986 and marks the return of the Freeling family for the sequel, following 1 year afterwards after the original Poltergeist. And I like how we got all the cast other than Dana, other than the actress who played Dana, returning. So the little girl who played Carol Ann and the two parents and the same kid who plays Robbie is back, and I liked seeing that. In my opinion, this is a great sequel. A lot of people shit on it, but I think it does a really good job following the story and continuing it, especially, and what it adds to it, especially in the horror department. There's some really terrifying things that go on in this film that are enhanced when it comes to the first film. The first one's going to be the classic, and this one doesn't. It's not. It's a fantastic sequel. I wouldn't say necessarily that it's on par with the first film, but as a sequel, it does its job perfectly, in my opinion. So we have, like I said, this is a year later. The Freelings move to the grandmother's house. So basically, the wife's mom, Diane's mom, and her name is Jess. I'm pretty sure. So they move to Phoenix, and they're living with the grandmother now, and everything seems great. Their old house obviously was destroyed in the last film. The whole friggin' neighborhood was, as a matter of fact. And the grandmother is a clairvoyant. I think you say that she has connections to like the other side kind of thing. And actually, the subtitle for this is Poltergeist 2: The Other Side. And the grandmother starts to get some ideas that her daughter and her granddaughter have the same clairvoyancy kind of powers, you could say. They bring in a Native American plot into this. So there's this Native guy named Taylor, and he meets the family, and he is there to serve basically as protection from the family, and he uses like ancient Native traditions to keep the family safe and keep this villain character named Kane, who I will get to, by the way, because he's one of the best villains I've ever seen, looking especially just the way he is. I mean, this guy's terrifying. Everybody seems definitely a lot more mature in this film. Like, you could tell they've aged a bit, obviously, but I like how more grown up the kids look, especially Robbie and Carol Ann. Like, Robbie, you can tell he's growing into himself, and Carol Ann, same. Like, just their mannerisms and things they say. Like, there's this look that Carol Ann will give her brother, like, oh, brother, kind of thing. Like, you can tell there's a maturity to them now. They're not like little tiny kids anymore. And same with the parents. They kind of grow into themselves in a sense as well. So that was cool. It's too bad that the grandmother passes away like fairly quickly into the film, because her character was introduced very well, and she seemed like somebody that I really wanted to get to know as the film went on, but she ends up passing away quite fast, and it's just a shame that we didn't get to know her a little bit better. Although she shows up as like a spirit later on, but still, you don't really get to know her character all that much. Steve has another weird-ass freaky rant where he's not high this time, but he talks about like he misses the days where he was like a vacuum salesman and where he was like a hippie and living out of a van and stuff like that. And it's like, I miss our freaky days, to his wife and stuff like that. And it's like, this guy's fucking weird, man. This guy's a strange one. So the poltergeist comes back, and Taylor mentions this, that basically there's no point in the family running away from this evil, because the evil's just going to find them again no matter where they go. So running is pointless. You have to face them head on, and you have to use like certain ritualistic powers to fight this evil head on, and not run away from it, because it'll just follow. And the evil comes through Carol Ann's toys this time, and I really like how it comes through her toy phone, and she's talking through the phone, and it's really creepy. And then this robot starts moving by itself, and all her toys start moving all by themselves, all small soldier style, and it gets really creepy. And then she throws out this line, she's like, "They're back!" I found that really forced. Honestly, in my opinion, I would have taken that out of the film, because it just feels hammed, and it just feels like they threw it in to call back to the original, and it's not natural. The way she says it, the way it was the way she was directed to say it, it just doesn't feel genuine at all. So, I mean, it's cool that it's a callback, but it was just kind of unnecessary, and I would rather do without it, kind of thing. So they escape the house. They try to run away because they don't listen to Taylor at first, and they go to this diner for a while. And there's this woman at the diner who, for briefly, she gets possessed by the soul of Diane's mother, who had recently passed, and the mother starts talking through this woman, and this like freaks Diane out because she's listening, she's hearing her mother again come out of this random woman's mouth. And there's a few scenes in this film that try to play out a little bit of humor. Sometimes it works. Other times, most of the time, I'd say it doesn't. I don't think. I think a lot of the humor in this film is definitely cheesy, and this film does a much better job when it sticks to horror. And like I said, there's some very horrific stuff in this. Like I mentioned, the main villain, who basically is the devil. They call him the Beast, or they actually, Taylor usually refers to him as just him. It's him in human form, kind of thing, and he or him or the Beast can take on multiple variations, multiple forms of themselves, and one of them is this guy named Kane, and this is like a really older gentleman. The actor did pass away 1 or 2 years or even less than that after this film. But I'm telling you, like, this guy is so creepy. I mean, just look at this guy. Would you want to be anywhere near this dude? Would you want your kids anywhere near this dude? Like, I'm sure this actor, too, he's really, really good at what he does. So I'm sure he can play the sweetest man if he wants to play the sweetest man. But in this role, good God. Like, holy shit. When he comes to the house, I love when he comes to the house and he's singing these like religious songs and it just starts pouring rain, and he has this creepy hat on, and his smile is just so perverted, you could say. I don't want to say the wrong thing here, but that's the vibe he's giving through the whole film. Especially when he comes near Carol Ann and he starts talking and he's like singing her songs. It's like, yeah, we might want to watch out for this guy. There's definitely a few things in this film that wouldn't be able to be said or made today. At the beginning of the film, Robbie is like, he says to his father, he's like, great, I'm just going to grow up to be a retard. Yeah, can't say that anymore. There's there's a scene involving Taylor when he's in the backyard and the mom comes and Taylor's putting war paint on the son, Robbie, and the mom's like, listen, Taylor's like, he wants to be a man. The mom's like, well, there's lots of ways that kids can be men, but using war paint and teeth marks or something like that is not one of them. And Taylor says to the mom, he's like, how would you know? You're not a man, are you? Couldn't be done today either, I don't think. But that's the 80s. I mean, that's why I love the 80s, and it was just such a different time, and I don't know, I don't see the point in being sensitive about it. It's a different time, and it is what it is, so I don't know. I think, it's true. Like, he's a Native American, and he has his own traditions. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing wrong about it, and he even says, like, kids have created empires. Kids have built things. You shouldn't look down upon kids just because they're little. They have strength too. They have passion, kind of thing. And he's right. I don't disagree with him whatsoever. And then there's the scene with Robbie in the bathroom and he's brushing his teeth, and then his braces just start, like, the wires start going everywhere and wrapping around his head, and the wires are trying to get to the electrical socket. So sick looking. I love that. Like, pure Nightmare on Elm Street style. Like, that's something you would see in a dream sequence in a Nightmare on Elm Street film. I just love that part. And then you can't forget about my favorite thing in the film is when the father, Steve, gets possessed by Kane's, or the Beast, or whatever, and he's possessed for a while, and he tries to, like, really get frisky with the wife, and he starts to get really, really, like, violent and creepy, like, scary. He starts to become a very sadistic, evil guy to his family, and starts to become a serious threat. And when he starts to get near like Carol Ann at that point, you're like, oh man, this doesn't look like it's going anywhere good. And then he throws up this vile like worm looking thing, and it's massive. The way it comes out of his mouth, and it just starts squirming everywhere. I've seen similar things in movies like Lords of Salem happens with the worm thing, and a few other things where they have this like juicy giant ass swirling squiggly worm looking thing. But it's Kane, and then it starts to get very human looking, and you see the worm's face, and it represents Kane's face very much. And again, all practical effects, which I love, and it looks gorgeous for the practical effects. I love the chainsaw floating on its own and revving on its own and starting to like chop up the car when the family's inside the vehicle and trying to get away. That was fantastic. So the director of this, Brian Gibson, definitely knew how to bring clever and very unique horror scenes into this film, and I really respect that. I love that for a sequel. I love the way he elevated everything, and I'm gonna give another shout out to that actor who plays Kane, because he did a phenomenal job like in his character. Now, unless he is literally a creep in real life, I don't know. But I don't know. I haven't seen him in anything else, but I'm pretty sure he's just acting. I hope he's just acting, and he can act. And he really, really got under my skin. So I have to give a good applause and shout out to that actor, and rest in peace to him. And you can't talk about these films. They're almost hard to watch because of the tragedies that happen behind them, with Carol Ann's, the actress, and with Dana's actress, which she couldn't be in this film because she had already been murdered. I can't even say passed. She was legit murdered. It's a good thing that her ex-boyfriend, or boyfriend at the time, got tried and everything, and got justice served to him. But yeah, it's fucked. It's messed up, and that's the thing with these films. Like, you can't watch them and not think about that, and it's very unfortunate that these films leave such a bad aura on them, even though they're really well done, in my opinion. I'm gonna get to 3. I don't own the third one, so I don't know when I'm gonna get to the third film, and it's not streaming in anything I've seen. So I mean, maybe you're watching this in the future where I already have reviewed the third film. I don't know, but as of now, I don't own the third film, and it's not streaming anywhere. So I'm sticking with 1 and 2 for now. But we'll see what happens. And Steve, when he's possessed, he is very scary himself. I don't like the whole climax when they reach the other side and they start fighting Kane on the other side. Reminded me a lot of Hellraiser 2, when they're in whatever the hell world realm they're in, and everything just looks very cartoon and very video game. And it kind of takes me out of the film because it starts to get really cheesy and corny. And some of the music scores they chose makes it seem even more like kind of family-friendly drama kind of thing. And I don't know, that climax for a film like this that's packed with so many scenes that are very horrific just was corny, and didn't look good. It wasn't convincing at all, and it just didn't look good for a climax, especially. And the way Kane is defeated is just cheesy, and could have had a better job done there. But I liked the characters. I love Taylor in this film. I already spoke enough about Kane as the villain, and the ending after the whole other side scene where Steve gives Taylor his vehicle as a thanks. And I love the running joke through the film where the car like kept breaking down, and they kept arguing, the car is angry, we got to make the car happy now, kind of thing. And they want to make the car happy from being angry. And then he gives him the car, and he's like, the car's happy now, you can have it because you saved our lives. And then he drives off, and then the wife is like, wait, we don't have a ride home. And then it goes all screwball at the end where Steve is chasing the car. I laughed. Again, it's corny, but I laughed at that final joke where they kind of leave you off on a little bit of a happy note. So, or a humorous note kind of thing. So, like I said, a lot of people crap on this film, but I think it's pretty fantastic for a sequel. And they did a really good job with it, and the returning cast is fantastic. So I give props to Poltergeist 2. It also gets a 4 out of 5 in my opinion, and that's my thoughts. Have you seen it? If you haven't, go check it out because it's worthwhile, and the horrific scenes are worth it in itself. So subscribe to Morgan Film Fan if you like to listen to my voice or if you like my film reviews. I'll be back with more soon, so stay tuned for those. Check out what's on the channel already. Stay tuned for what's coming. Until next review, have a good one. Take care and cheers.